Judgment Day look like they're gonna break up. I'm Ollie Davis, filling in for Luco in DAD.
Huge.
Joined by Dan Layton, the Professor Dan Layton. The truth that, well, what's your, the jam in the jar, briefcase holder?
Mr. Jam in the Jar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's it. Mr. Jam in the jar.
The people call me the Professor of Truth.
Okay.
So it's a mixture of both. Basically, whatever you fancy. Whatever you're feeling.
Because Dan won I'm looking quite short, actually. There we go.
You've basically been kneeling down.
Just
do you want me to get smaller for you? Is that what you need?
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, I'll just go.
There we go.
How about
that? So you could merge the Jam in the Jar briefcase holder with the Truth and the Professor?
Yeah.
The Jam in the Truth in the Jar?
The Truth in the Jar.
That's what you've got inside
Dr. Truth in the Jar.
Yeah. Welcome to the Monday Night Raw Review podcast on the WrestleTalk Podcast channel. If you haven't already, please press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, leave us a comment down below with what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw, and send in your
UltraChats. And it's a very themed episode this week because Natty got some
disagree.
No, she got some props this week. I'm not having it. I'm not standing for anyone. Natty had a great match this week. So get in your UltraNats to confirm precisely why we've chosen to name them after the legend, the record holder, the Guinness World Record holder of about 26 new records, Natalya Neidhart.
Yeah. She was there in a match that Rhea Ripley was really good in.
She was good in it too. We'll get into it.
But we'll open starting with another part of Rhea Ripley's storyline, which is this Judgment Day split. Last time we did this together, I think it was 3 weeks to a month ago, and that was the episode when we first got the idea that,
are they
Priest and Balor, there's a little bit of tension here.
Yeah.
Now Balor's lost his World Consolation Weight Championship shot. Kind of because of Priest being...
I would say in no small part because of Priest and his own insecurity. Like, it's very much like Priest stood up at Money in the Bank with his briefcase in hand a little bit too early, maybe.
Yeah.
Enough for Finn to see Priest and stop going for that third coup de grace, which would have, in absolute terms, put Seth Rollins away. So Finn lost his shot.
Finn's been going that way. But Priest, meanwhile... Totally opposite.
On the way up.
He's got the briefcase.
He was on Sunday Brunch this week.
Was he?
100% he was.
What?
Yeah, my mum texted me. She was like, I got a text from my mum. The first words were Damian Priest. And I went, what? Damian Priest was on Sunday Brunch this week. We'll talk about it.
This is so weird when WWE come to England.
Yeah.
And they invade all our little bits.
On our TV shows.
I got a text from my girlfriend on Thursday.
Yeah.
And it was just a screenshot of the description of the BBC radio show Women's Hour.
Okay, good. Okay.
Because Rhea Ripley was on it.
Was she on it? Was she on
Yes.
Women's Hour?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love that.
And my girlfriend said she was a bit boring. She didn't come across very well.
Oh, no.
Like she came across as quite monotone.
Oh, Rhea.
Right.
Damian Priest came across very well.
Oh yeah?
Oh, brilliantly.
Was he have you watched it then?
Yeah, I went back and watched it straight away. He basically he was sat there man-spreading like you wouldn't believe.
He's a tall guy.
He's a tall guy. He's a handsome, like built, big guy
with the voice of a
giant
devil.
Briefcase, with the voice of a devil. And they're sat there asking him some questions, and it's that typical interview that I still can't believe we're doing this 23 years after it was at its absolute apex, where they're like, what's this wrestling then? You know, all of that stuff they're giving, and he's absolutely fielding it and navigating them really well. He's comes across very chill, very warm, makes a few jokes, like kind of props up the presenters. And yeah, like genuinely I was like, oh, okay. No wonder they're quite high on you. I think you represent this company quite well. So yeah.
Did they do any? So Sunday Brunch is a baffingly watchable show.
Oh, incredibly watchable. Yeah.
I call it Lads and Food.
Is it precisely what Nikita Oliver's on it now?
Oh, really?
Do you remember her?
Yeah, I used to work with Nikita.
Did you?
Yeah, back in my Channel 4 days.
I didn't know you were on Channel 4.
I wasn't on Channel 4.
You were working at Channel 4.
Yeah. But the also it's not Tim Lovejoy and the chef guy anymore.
Tim Lovejoy's still there.
Yeah.
But on this particular episode, Nikita Oliver was around.
So usually, I think you have a man and a woman hosting stuff.
Yeah.
As you see here, like we're really diverse on our WrestleTalk.
I got nails.
And what they've chosen to do, apart from this Nikita Oliver episode, is just have two bald chaps.
Two chaps.
Chatting and making
Cooking
food.
some food.
Yeah.
Everyone sat around a table eating food, and then they interview people.
Yeah.
And it's a show about brunch.
But did Damien Priest play any of the games?
No, it was just one short interview segment.
He didn't stay on the table?
Didn't stay on the table. That probably wasn't room for him. It's a very little table, and he's a large man. But no, he was quite chill, quite good. Did his job very well. I think represented the company brilliantly. And then
it's live.
Yeah.
So he would have done that with the briefcase.
I was thinking this. I'm like, you got to be at work now.
Yeah.
Like, get on the plane.
Well, sorry about that diatribe. I was genuinely interested in that. And Raw was good, but not so good that I didn't want to talk about a Sunday brunch appearance.
I found Raw quite... I was a bit sad for you because you came on to cover for Luke and you were like, what are you all talking about? This Raw was great. And we did have a particularly good episode, that one. This one I thought was two very dull... A hot opening, 2 very dull hours, and then a decent final hour.
Yeah. So it's like the Judgment Day stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it opened the show with that start of the bookend. Seth Rollins comes out. Mm-hmm. Whoa. I hate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it.
I'm starting to get tired of it too.
Only now?
Yeah, because now he's the top dog again. When he was sort of in the middle, I wasn't really fussed because he could always turn it on, and there was a little sort of like heely. I liked the heeliness of it, but now it's supposed to be face.
What is his character?
He's a man who has a belt and buys clothes that, in fairness, I would wear.
Would you?
Yes.
Remember
those red boots? Right, yeah, because they told me we're doing things for Lord of the Board, and they told me I'm not allowed to wear my V-neck because of mic placements. Yeah. So I acquiesced.
That's all of your wardrobe out.
Basically, it was like I've got one option. It's this black shirt that I wear sometimes on laundry day. But but that's basically his whole character. Seth. And they cheer and they sing his song, and that's more for us than it. Like for him and like what he does. There's not a lot. I'm very. There's nothing to cash in on, not on this main event. He just doesn't really do anything. And now he's in the position where he's like, welcome to Monday Night Raw. He's the host of Raw kind of thing.
That's the other thing. He came out, and I hate this in Raw.
Yeah.
When they make baby faces or champions do the job of the announcers. So he's like, wow, everybody, what a night we just had at Money in the Bank. You would never get The Rock doing that back in the day.
Also,
that is a John Cena template.
We just got a 3-4 minute recap of Money in the Bank, and now you're here to tell me what happened? I don't need it.
But he came out. He was immediately interrupted by Cody Rhodes. Yeah. Cody Rhodes came down, said the word "so."
Yeah.
He was interrupted by Brock Lesnar's music. Well, hey.
That's great.
They had a brawl. That was good. Cody actually stood tall. Seth goes to talk again, and who should interrupt for a second time? Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Not all of them.
No, conspicuous by his absence was the Prince. Finn Balor not there.
I think Seth pointed that out as well. Like, well, there's not all of you here. And Rhea said, well, don't worry.
Yeah.
We're fine. Finn just isn't here right now.
Yeah.
And Dom looked at her like, what?
Yeah.
And Rhea looks like, So that was nice teasing. Yeah. I didn't know if they were trying to say that, well, Finn's in the back because they've got a ambush plan for later.
Or just like, he's doing his thing. Don't worry about it. We're not worried about it. Why should you worry about it kind of thing? It was like which one do you want to be?
Because even in it then goes on to Damien saying like, I could beat you. It has this wonderful bit where Damien goes that someone else in this faction could beat you. And he looks at Dominic, but then Dominic looks at Rhea.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because in the Cody Dom storyline, half of it was actually Cody versus Rhea. Really was what we were interested in. Mm-hmm. So,
And there was that moment from a few weeks back, wasn't there, where Seth did the dive and posed with Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, and she thought it was Dom.
She's just the best thing.
She's great.
In everything, particularly in Natalya
Except
matches.
on Woman's Hour.
Oh, yeah. Dull.
Yeah. Mom and saying.
But it was Dominic versus Seth Rollins was set up for the main event.
Yeah.
And Seth said, I believe this is a trap, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the idea of Finn being in the back, and this was all a big plot by Judgment Day, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the story they were telling, though, because everyone then seemed surprised that Balor ran down after the main event to scuffle.
Yeah, well, there was a backstage segment a little bit into the show after Rhea's match where she basically said, Dom came in and said, have you heard from Finn yet?
Yeah.
And like they were like, no, we haven't. Like, don't. So they kind of made it clear that they didn't know where Finn was either.
So it wasn't an ambush plan.
It wasn't an ambush plan. It was very much Finn is MIA.
Okay.
And character-wise, I think that's perfectly justified. Because I think from Finn's perspective, he had that match won after all those years, and his mate stole it from him. And then that's the conversation they were having, isn't it? They had basically what happened was we had the match between Seth and Dom, and
standard stuff.
Yeah. Dom got far too much in on Seth, I thought, for someone who was bantered off by Cody Rhodes 2 days ago. I think Dom's character works best when he's not actually involved but claims he's involved, kind of thing.
Which is why Brock Lesnar should have helped him beat Cody.
I absolutely agree.
Imagine if we were going into this main event with Dom and the momentum behind him of,
I beat Cody Rhodes.
I just beat Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
He's beaten you 3 times, Seth Rollins. I'm coming for that title.
I completely agree.
That'd be so good.
I think it would have been so much more fun for him to and it's another reason for us to hate him. It's like we all saw that you didn't beat Cody Rhodes, you know?
And Rhodes would not have lost a thing.
No, I don't think
And you
so.
could have done that angle with Brock. Apparently that was the plan. That was the plan. And they decided, oh, well, we've got Cena and Drew both making shock appearances. Let's not be too good.
Let's not give them too much. We don't want to. You can have too much of a good thing.
We're not going to get a WrestleMania for 5 years by the sounds of it. Give me a Brock right now.
I prefer that to what we got instead, which was a graphic that has apparently made Dirty part of Dominic's actual name. Did you see this?
Oh, no.
In the corner of the screen, it said Seth freaking Rollins versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
Oh,
don't need that. Don't need
Just Dom Mysterio.
But then, we got the Finn interference, and then what happened was something that I preferred so much more to the alternative, which is 25 minutes of stilted promos, where you essentially had Finn. Dominic was really mad at Finn because he was like, "You just stolen my opportunity there to cash in and become champion. Could be champion right now." And Finn's like, "I could be champion right now, but you stopped me."
Yeah.
And he's like, at one point, he was like, "I don't care about your contract. I don't care about it." So Damien replies with, "Well, I don't care about your vendetta, dude." And like they were really heated. They were really going at each other. And it was so compelling. And I was like, the announcers thankfully had shut up and let it play out. And I was really into it. And I think this was my thing with Money in the Bank in general, which is that I find I liked the idea of LA Knight winning for the pop. And I liked the idea of LA Knight holding a briefcase and cutting a promo about how he's going to cash in on anybody. But I think the briefcase can be a bit of an albatross. And I think it can be something that weighs you down if you don't have anything else to do. And especially last year, I think it's still got some stink on it from the Theory run.
The Theory one, Otis handing it to the Miz.
Yeah, I think it's had a couple of bad years. And so what it needs is a compelling story, and the Judgment Day story is compelling enough for this prop to be useful in that regard. So I really like this.
Yeah, a lot of people I was surprised by how many people thought it was a bad ladder match. Some even said a bad pay-per-view overall.
That's not true.
Because LA Knight didn't win.
Yeah. I mean, that's... you and I have spoken about this, and I've kind of half joked about being a moments guy. I do like a moment, but it is about how you follow that moment up. I think about Austin turning heel at WrestleMania 17. And that's an incredible moment, but then was it followed up in the right way? Was it the right choice? Was it whatever? It would have been an incredible moment for LA Knight to win, but would it actually have been detrimental to LA Knight's character going forward?
Yeah.
Because then nobody wants him to cash in on a mid-card belt. And I feel like he would have a much better... His heat currently would be served much better by having a mid-card title, taking it off Theory and going on a run with the big champion belt.
Well, if LA Knight won it as well, I think WWE would then start to resent the fact that they felt like they had to put the briefcase on him.
I agree.
And we'd get him beaten. He'd get beaten every week for a year, and then he'd lose his cash.
Because that's often the way with the briefcase as well, is because your argument is, well, you cash in the briefcase, you get all your heat back. And it's like, it doesn't work like that.
No.
I think by giving Priest a win against Nakamura, which we'll talk about in a minute, and then by having this big main event story, and the Judgment Day have gone from, when I first did the review last August, they were spooky jobbers. They were nothing. They're now the biggest act on Raw kind of thing. I'm far more compelled in their story. Seth is just there. You know, Seth's a part of it, but really it's these two. And like, you know, do they have a series and in the end Balor is injured and goes off screen, and then at some point Damien cashes in and Balor can make a return? If you've got Balor versus Priest, you've got Balor versus Seth, you've got Priest versus Seth, you've got all of these different things to play. I'm into it.
Well, here's my pitch. I didn't get it at Money in the Bank, and I said this a month ago, but Finn versus Seth rematch at SummerSlam, because SummerSlam is the actual pay-per-view where they fought all those years ago, back in 2016 or whatever. Finn wins.
Right.
Judgment Day celebrate with him.
Oh, the whole return of the Batista.
Cash in.
Yeah.
Priest beats Finn. The Judgment Day have casted judgment once more. Edge has been kicked out.
Yeah.
Finn's been kicked out.
Yeah.
Next year, the leader will be kicked out again.
I find that the most compelling.
Yeah.
I liked the idea of Finn winning at Money in the Bank because Finn had the belt.
Yeah.
And
in his home country of England.
In his home country, right on his garden.
Yeah.
His back garden. It's such an interesting little development for those two. And I think it probably would have been the right call to give it to Finn here. Like, to give it to Finn at Money in the Bank, then do the run-up of the... You wouldn't cash it on me, would you? And then JD McDonough's whole thing of, like, you've got friends, haven't you? Like, yeah, you wouldn't. We're mates. We're stable mates. Like, you're not going to do that. Always one eye open. And then, you do get that congratulations, bye-bye moment at SummerSlam. I think that would be great. You
keep saying these two people, but what I actually find most interesting is Dom and Rhea being caught in the middle. Like, there was a lot of, at the end when... Because what happened is Priest started beating down Seth after the main event because Priest had already caused the DQ loss for Dom by beating up Seth. Rubbish finish, but it is what it is. It's WWE, and they're beating him up.
You gotta protect Dom.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know,
Seth comes back. Dom hits him over the head with the briefcase. They roll him in the ring. Ooh. And then Finn runs down and starts to beat up Seth too. By this point, you're like, okay, well, Finn's helping Priest's case here. But it was when Balor pushed Seth and he accidentally pushed Seth into Balor that gave Seth enough time to run away.
Yeah.
Like the heroic babyface he is. And then they're both arguing. And that's when you see Dom like, no, guys, please.
Yeah.
Daddy's a mummy, please.
Yeah.
Don't fight.
And then you had Rhea sort of cradling Dom and being like, can you just focus? Dom's hurt.
Yeah.
Like, there was something. But what's really interesting is that they've all had separate stories for the past month. Like, Priest has been busy with Money in the Bank. Finn's been busy with Seth. These guys have been busy with Cody. Here they are. And there's such dissension. There's such like, can we stop fighting, please? I love it.
That's why factions are so great.
Yeah.
Because you get these, these two-person acts and feuds, and you can tell where they're going. But as you've seen in the Bloodline story, where, you've got like 4 people plus Paul Heyman, then occasionally Sami Zayn. It is so multifaceted. And you'd think it would just add one more storytelling layer. But what it does is it exponentially increases every other person you add. So, well done on the Judgment Day storyline.
Yeah.
Really liking it.
I was a big fan of that.
Let's see how many natty chats. Ultra Nats we've got in WrestleTalk.com/support. Send them in there. I'll read all of the ones over $5 out on air. Cody Moody 5 says, hey boyos, Damian Priest winning Money in the Bank, in my opinion, was a slightly better choice because of the long-term story potential, and I think Knight will win the Rumble. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's a big call.
Also, Dax retweeted my FTR album cover concept. Keep being you boys. Jam that jam, Doritos chip.
I don't know about the Royal Rumble,
but
let's get there first. Like, let's get to January.
Don't think that the Rumble will be a bad match if LA Knight doesn't win.
This is it. If we start getting excited, I mean, there was this whole idea of like the main event next year is going to be Cody Roman, and it's like, well, let's get there first. Like, let's figure it out. But I like I say, LA Knight's fine. LA Knight is getting the reactions and is much better served elsewhere. And I think Triple H probably sees that. Whether Vince does, I don't know.
Vince isn't.
Oh, he's not involved. No, my bad.
Bailey Reichert. Shayna has to be the face in this Ronda feud. Don't forget Ronda as the face. Don't force Ronda as the face. And by default, for EO being on SmackDown, she's the second longest reigning Miss Money in the Bank holder.
In that segment with Rhea backstage where they were talking about has anyone spoken to Finn, we did get a little face-to-face with EO, who again has made the very quick flight all the way back over because she's a SmackDown superstar because the brand split is in full effect. Although Money in the Bank can do whatever they want. And I like the whole I'm here. And it was the whole thing of, I think you said it on the review, that by virtue of this show being on a Saturday, EO has already become the second longest.
Quite a big leap to then be the first, though.
Yeah.
Carmella's like 280 days.
Just bring the average to sort of a minimum. But I would love if EO just sort of hovered around in suites watching Rhea matches. Do you know what I mean? She's up in the crowd, like with the Money in the Bank briefcase and like a glass in hand, just going like, okay, I'm watching you. I'm here always. Because the idea of it being that target on your back is what makes the Money in the Bank briefcase so compelling.
I also do get a bit bored of, I've got a briefcase.
Yeah.
I've got a briefcase. I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why I was quite a fan of the idea of Logan Paul getting it.
Because he wouldn't
could
be around.
Disappear.
Yeah.
For 3 months.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, what's his entrance music?
I am Logan Paul, and I am a maverick.
Bailey says, hey, Bailey here. Love the show on Saturday. All the boys went crazy for the shirt unbuttoning. Disappointed you aren't wearing another button one tonight. Next time, I will be waiting for it.
You gotta save these things. You know, you can't just give away the goods.
Right, so let's get on with the full play-by-play review. We've already covered the opening, but we actually
didn't get into Cody himself.
We had an RIP graphic for Droz as well.
Oh yes,
he passed away.
Well, that came. So I was at SmackDown on Friday. I don't know if I've mentioned it. I was at SmackDown on Friday, and that popped up, and that was how I learned that news, and that was really sad. Yeah. And I think one of the things that I thought about a lot with Droz in particular is beyond sort of his in-ring work and the whole beyond the mat stuff and all of that was I always associated him with things like Bite This. And being a .com writer during his internet show, which is very much a precursor to sort of the whole industry we have around us now. Like he was doing predictions in his website articles. He was brought in to Bite This, their web show for analysis when it was all dial-up internet still. So yeah, I was kind of quite taken with like, oh, you know, we shouldn't forget his contribution on that front as well, and the fact that his it was more that, you know, the injury that he suffered was devastating and that's something to not forget, but it was what he did in the decades post that injury that I found quite inspiring in many ways. So
apparently a lovely guy.
Yeah.
Who never really got bitter by the injury.
No.
Unfortunately, my enduring memory is
he's gonna puke.
He's gonna puke.
He's gonna puke.
I still do that to my friends on nights out.
Yeah.
Well, when I see someone's about to go, he's just done a show.
Oh, he's gonna puke.
Yeah, we had Seth come out. Cody Rhodes came out. I think he was gonna set up something for the belt, but that isn't the story.
Did you see that? You saw all the press conference stuff and the interview with Ariel Helwani?
Yeah, he said it's not his story.
He said it's not his story. He said it's a great belt. He tried to put over the belt as much as he could, while also saying, I don't care about it.
It's not the real belt.
It's not the real belt. One. And then there was a little part of me that does what I do. And I went, okay, I could fantasy book this and see where I go with it. And I was like, maybe if like SummerSlam Cody wins that belt and it kind of does legitimize it. And then we get to Mania and that's actually a unification match.
Another one.
And then thankfully we were cut off before I could go there.
Belt.
Yeah. Then I mean, well, this belt was supposed to be Cody's belt when he took it off Roman, but that's beside the point.
Roman wins that one as well.
Yeah. Then he carries around Roman 4 belts.
We covered the Seth and
I just meant that like
Dom
when I was getting there on the being carried away, Brock came in and then we got like a battle and then Cody standing tall. Good brawl. Did you see that? I love that Cody got out of the ring straight away and Brock is kind of laughing as he's running up the aisle and then they were right into each other and it was like, whoa, I do actually want to see this again. Yeah. You know? So
it's been a good feud, those two, I think.
Good opening.
Nakamura lost to Priest in about 10 minutes. Fine, like normal match, you know.
Yeah.
Nakamura
is there.
He just does stuff.
Yeah. I think more important was Priest getting the win.
Yeah.
You know, to keep his momentum.
And then we got something really quite delightful.
Please.
Ronda Rousey comes out. She's there to presumably address Shayna's turn, but before she can, Shayna Baszler interrupts her.
This was a show of interrupting people.
Yeah, and short matches.
Yeah.
That's Raw. We are all tired of listening to Ronda try to talk on the microphone.
Oh! Burn!
And then she just like went all in on Ronda.
She really did.
And a really good, like, that's one of Shayna's better promos she's ever done. It was really passionate, well delivered. And the content was great.
Dead right as well.
And then she beat up Ronda and then beat her up again. Ronda, like, made it, I was like, I know, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
Ronda makes the comeback. And then Shayna's like, nope. Knees her in the face.
Dragging her by the hair. Like, all of it. It was brutal.
Crowd are going crazy for Shayna.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so now I don't know if WWE are actually booking Shayna as a babyface.
I mean, I feel like it's one of those weird things where I feel like we perceive her as the babyface because of what she's saying, but if the mustache hears all of this stuff, he sees it as a negative, right? Because, like, basically, the good thing about this is both are right. Like, Ronda Rousey's Ronda Rousey. Okay, she's a mainstream star. So she kind of does get to go ahead of the line because she proved herself in many other ways. She had a far more impactful MMA career than Shayna Baszler, right? Shayna Baszler has come in the other way and made a name for herself on the indies, in NXT, purely for a love of the business. Ronda, that whole business of her being so miserable and petty and whiny and making herself this natural heel, and Baszler being like, dude, I brought you into this and you're being ungrateful and I'm fuming at you, is a really compelling story. I do feel a little bit like Vince looks down on the people who do 300 days a year, help set up the ring and do the indies and perform for people or whatever. Nothing that you did before you arrive on to WWE TV matters, kind of thing, unless you're Ronda Rousey. So I think that from my perspective and from all of our perspective, Shayna Baszler is a massive face at this point because we've all been tired of being... I think, do you remember that first run for Ronda Rousey, that first year?
That was good.
It was good, right? Yeah. It was really fun, really compelling, really entertaining. I think she did a really good job. And then suddenly when she gets put in this promo with Becky and Charlotte, because we were all so far behind Becky and we were so mad at Charlotte being there, Ronda kind of fell by the wayside. I think that bruised her ego in a big way. And I think her response to that is the reason that we're all a little bit like, you know, against her and why this run hasn't really become anything. So if she's exercised her heart out because she wants to jog on and do, I heard the Holly Holm rumor and other things, then by all means, if she's going to do it to put her mate over on the way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the big benefit in all of this. If Shayna ends up as a super over NXT champion of old Baszler because of this, I'm really, really happy.
Do you want to watch Shayna Baszler versus Rhea Ripley? Because I do.
Oh, yes. I don't want to watch any more women's tag team championship matches.
Yes.
I've decided. They just don't enjoy me.
Yes.
They just don't enjoy me.
Women's tag teams full stop.
At this point, because they can be very good wrestlers. They can be very good wrestlers together. But if WWE don't care about it, I feel I struggle to invest in anything that happens. As soon as the bell rings, even when it was Bayley actually, when it was Bayley and Sasha versus like Asuka and Kairi,
right?
That was
yummy,
the pinnacle.
Yeah.
But now it's like, what is this?
What happened here was we bantered off 3 new teams
tag team turmoil.
No reason. I like a tag team turmoil.
It's a gauntlet match.
It's a gauntlet match, but I used to call tag team turmoil match like back in like 2000, and it was all too cool and the headbangers running in quickly, and then before you know it's probably Edge and Christian again.
Yeah,
get the win. I like that as a concept. I like it as a match. I like a gauntlet, but really we got some weird melodrama from Nikki Cross that isn't working. We got
because she wanted to team with Candice LeRae.
Yeah.
Candice LeRae was teaming with Indy Hartwell.
And this was Indy's debut on Raw, by the way.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. She was backstage in a promo once. This was her debut on Raw. Didn't even get an entrance.
The way aren't happening.
Or the way down.
Yeah. So Emma said, I'll team with you.
Yeah.
For no real reason. And doesn't matter because they all got eliminated in minutes.
Dana Brooke and Tegan Nox are also there.
I didn't know it was Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke and Tegan Nox.
So I wrote everyone's names down for the purpose of my review notes.
Yeah.
And I wrote down Tegan Nox, and then I get to write in like the actual script for my review. And I'm like, who was the blonde person? It wasn't Tiffany Stratton. I just kept on thinking it was. It's Dana Brooke.
It's Dana Brooke.
It's like the 9th version of Dana Brooke.
And I'm sorry, Dana Brooke and Emma have history. Why can't they be a tag team? And also, when we got to the end of this, because it was like all of these teams were bantered off in no grace. It was all just done. Bye-bye. Off you go. The Karens have made a bit of a name for themselves because they were put together quite organically. We saw it happen on screen. And then they've been doing their segments.
Yeah.
And they've been entertaining, and I've enjoyed them. I think Chelsea Green is great in the role. I think she's brought something else out of Sonya Deville. I think it's quite good. The party girls who like to party, we at least have been given an introduction. They've had some great matches.
They love to party.
They love to party, and they've got new entrants. They got a little steam thing.
Yeah, what was that?
An attempt to make their entrance not look cringe.
It was like a clothes steamer.
Like
you can iron
on crack. Like it was a huge one. I didn't want to say anything, but you know. But no, they came out and they've got a fun entrance and they've got great moves. And what we got in the end was those guys versus the Karens, And there was that incredible avalanche.
Oh my God.
Hurricane Rana from Caden Carter. No, it was Katana Champ that did that. It was both of them at the same time.
Because it was Chelsea Green not just sitting on the top turnbuckle as you would normally hit a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, on the shoulders of Caden Carter.
It was standing up, full height, which Katana leapt up and hit a Hurricane Rana. Amazing. Yeah.
Why couldn't we just have those guys take a match? And if we have Raquel and Liv there, and they're the new champs, and they say, "Hey, look, we also agree with they were bad people, but we agree with what Ronda and Shayna wanted to do, which is to make this division mean something."
Yeah.
And then over the next few weeks, we've got 3 hours of television each week. Can we have the women be like, "Why don't we team together? Hey, Dana, I'm Emma. We've got history. Let's try being a team together." Oh. Tegan Knox and Piper Niven, we're both British, or like Nikki Cross and Piper Niven are both Scottish. If you want to tell this awful story between Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae and Eddie Hartwell, do it. Just do it and let it have time. Why have we just, if we're supposed to be invested in this division, don't show us it like this, because I don't care.
You buried everybody.
Well
by beating them so quickly.
Yeah,
I agree. I thought this was awful.
Really, really bad. I was like, what the F is going on in here on this day?
Tegan Knox and Dana Brooke also got eliminated during a picture-in-picture outbreak.
They were in power. Like they were in control. Then we went to ad, and then it came back. And we don't get picture-in-picture on BT Sport. Like, so I was watching on BT Sport.
Where are they gone?
I literally was like, what? Oh, okay, I guess. Nonsense.
Terrible. I enjoyed the following bit, though, with Becky Lynch and Trish and Zoe.
Big time.
Becky,
big pop for Trish's face mask.
So Becky's cutting a promo, calls down Trish. Trish comes out. She did break her nose, it seems like, because not only did she have that thing on, she had a bunged up nose.
Did you see during the match there was a great shot of Trish?
Yeah,
and it had like a full. And I watched the match back and I spotted where it happened. It was when she's having her head bashed off the ladder. It wasn't there when she climbed up. It was there when she climbed down. And I've done this a few times already, but I want to put over Trish.
Yeah,
because as a legend, she's 47. She doesn't need to do this kind of thing. She's come back doing a program to put over a younger star, and it's working. I think Zoe Stark is getting a nice little rub. Zoe Stark had a great outing in the ladder match as well. Program with Becky and entering the ladder match, right, and not shying away. Was she flawless at it? No. Like there were a few spots that were a bit clunky, but she did it.
Yeah.
You know, and she wasn't afraid to take a bump. At one point, she took a manhandle slam on the ladder.
I know.
Do you know?
That was awesome.
She did it. And so, thank you, Trish. And I think this is really cool. And I popped big time for when she had the classic Trish, I've broken my nose mask on from the 2004-5 run. She said, let's get out of here, Baltimore, more like Baltimore less.
Yeah, Trish!
Against my better judgment, I laughed.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, it was a slightly odd, unfocused promo insofar as like Trish was saying, you were jealous of everybody going around saying thank you to me. But I thought the point of this was that no one was saying thank you to you. So I was a bit like, what's going on there? But I did not
consistency from WWE
characters.
When
they hired a continuity person.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I think it's only working on the Bloodline story.
I think they hired him and fired him within a week.
Yeah.
I think it was a PR thing.
I think there was a bit of potential teasers here.
Yeah.
So Trish at one point says, I'm the best wrestler here. I'm the face of the division. And Zoe looked at her. We're not talking solo Roman levels, but it was just a glance.
Yeah.
And that feels like the sort of thing Triple H drip feeds in now.
Yeah.
And then Trish said later on, there's nobody better than me. Maybe Zoe can be
at one point
under my tutelage. And Becky Lynch points out, well, what happens to Zoe when Trish leaves? You're not going to be here forever. So this already feels like it's being packaged around Stark to end up more over than before.
I think that's
good.
A really good thing. Yeah. And I like Zoe a lot. So
Cody Rhodes came out in a suit.
Love that.
And he was interviewed on the ramp part with the audience behind him.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
I've made my peace with the fact that it's not Kathy Kelly anymore. I've had a sad day about that.
Well, it's Jackie.
She's not Kathy, is she?
Who's Jackie?
Jackie. I did some Googling. She's done NHL before.
Uh-huh.
She's a sports journalist. She's
cool.
She's here. She's not Kathy Kelly.
Yeah. Who is?
Exactly.
Cody told us all to say hi to Jackie, which was fun. And
why does he come out and do the promos here? Why we've already seen him come out with the entrance. Why do we do two? I don't get that.
Oh, people like singing the song.
Diminishing returns.
He said he'll fight Brock anywhere. We got Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders next in a full-on six-person, intergender tag. So everyone's finally in the ring together. And it was really fun. They went like straight to the final third of the match. So the match breaks down. Everyone's hitting finishes. It's all to build up Maxine getting in with Valhalla. Arm drag.
Yeah.
Arm drag. Suplex.
Yeah.
And then Otis is like, do the caterpillar. She does the caterpillar. Kicked in the face.
Yeah.
But a few moves later, sunset flip pin for the win.
This was excellent. This was the moment where I came back into the room because I'd been so sort of like, whatever about this episode. And then suddenly the Alpha Academy are here to save the day and everything was great. Gable's exploder suplex to Eric like it was nothing. And Eric's not a small guy and Gable is. So that worked. The way the crowd came alive for an arm drag and a suplex.
Yeah.
Do you know, there was a Let's Go Maxine chant at one point. It was the basic storytelling of like, I taught you how to do an arm drag, I taught you how to do a suplex, and you did one of those each week, and now here they are in sequence, and then her feeling the caterpillar kind of, but she not practiced that one, so she's not ready for that one yet. I'm so happy for this unit and for the Viking Raiders that this little program is so over.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's hard work, and they're doing it well. And I think I'd love it. It's so simple, but it's really effective. So
I was disappointed with how much time they got here.
You thought they should have more or less?
More.
I
thought, I thought there should have been 1 minute.
We need more tag teams in the Turmoil match.
Because, this is the payoff of a month-long story, really. And I think it went 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And you could feel it because they went right in at the end.
Yeah.
It was just like Otis tagging in, Chad tagging in. Like you started with the hot tag so you could get to the Maxine spot quickly. But I really feel like if you had 10 minutes of the opening and middle third of the match, which they skipped, that payoff at the end when Maxine finally gets tagged in, you can keep on playing up the idea that she's going to get tagged. Yeah. Maybe she misses something first and and she gets worked over.
I see your point, and I think it's an effective one. I just feel like for me, and I'd hate to make the same point every single time, but I wish this show was 2 hours, because if it was, this is the perfect amount of time, because you don't need more time really for it to because it landed, didn't it? And we got the energy.
Did land.
And
I'd
think
have cut Natalya personally.
How dare you? But I just feel like the pops were there.
Big pops from a bad crowd
when
too.
She went, thank you. I literally was on my feet. I was so excited. I was leant forward. Everything was so much fun. I think part of its charm, and part of the reason it's been so effective, is the fact that it's so short. I think it was a similar thing with Cody and Dom. They were all very simple and very effective the whole way through. I'm for things being like the Judgment Day stuff at the end, because they weren't in a promo waiting for each other to finish their dunk sentence and put the mic down and pick the mic back up. Everything just felt snappier. I think pacing is so important, and I think that by going straight in at Act 3, we're already in the heat. We don't have time to lose our concentration, So
one thing, I might be reading too much into this.
Okay.
But Otis was the one calling for the caterpillar from Maxine. Maxine did it. She got hit in the face.
Right.
So if I'm Chad in the debrief of this match, I'm like, you can't be doing that stupid stuff.
Right.
You've got to focus on pro wrestling fundamentals.
With your little shorts and your polo now.
Yeah. It's the JAS's sports entertainment versus Blackpool Combat Club's death jitsu.
Wrestling,
Yeah, wrestling. So I don't know if that's, again, like a little spot that predicates a split.
Together. You wanted to keep them togetger, and
I do, yeah.
Together.
Yeah. I just thought
it's interesting.
Triple H has made me pay attention to stuff, which I like. Ricochet apparently had a brawl with Logan Paul backstage after Money in the Bank. They showed us footage. And then Ricochet called out Logan for a face-to-face next week. Reportedly, spoiler, this is because they're going to have a showcase flippy match at SummerSlam.
Flippy nonsense. Much better than an idea of a Logan versus Sheamus match. No disrespect to Sheamus. But that was the rumor, was that Logan was going to go into a program with Sheamus. So I'd rather see this.
Well, it should be amazing.
Yeah.
Going by their spot they did together and Money in the Bank.
Maybe just don't do it all from the middle rope.
Rhea Ripley then took on Natalya in
Come on.
You ready?
Come on.
A surprisingly good match.
Thank you. I managed to bring Luke round on The Miz. My next way is to bring everybody round on Natalya.
Oh, she's boring. Rhea comes down to the ring, and she's attacked by Natalya during her entrance.
Yeah.
And it was that jolt of energy that shocked me out of, it's a Natalya match.
Right.
And they brawled around the ring, and it was really back and forth. And, I'm not saying this to Barb at Natalya, but I really feel like I was so into this match because of Rhea's selling.
Yes.
And the selling came down to, I'm being caught by surprise by this.
I actually think they both did a great sell job here. You're dead right on that one. It was very much, and it was almost that like Natalya had kind of, she'd been beaten up twice by Rhea in a very similar way, and she was like, okay, well, I need to play you at that game. So she did, right? And it was effective and it worked. And then through the match, Rhea was off her game, and then every time she got a minute to get back to her senses, and she did, and she took control, Natalya reached down and found some more reserves, and they just kind of battered each other. There was an intensity from Natalya that we haven't seen for a really long time. I think I have a lot of time and patience for Natalya because I think she is good in the ring. I think she is solid and dependable.
Good.
She's good.
She's there. She's solid and dependable.
She's good in the ring.
She's been there for a long time.
I think Natalya straddled, I was saying this upstairs, I think Natalya straddles a generational divide kind of weird. She was too good for the Divas division. She's maybe not on the same level as the current crop of women.
That's a really acute summary, I think.
So I think it's a little bit, like she's not on the performance level. I will always concede she's a little bit stunted with her, delivery of promos and things like that. But I think she's good at what she does. I think she's a good, solid, dependable wrestler. I would love to see her have a big tag team run. I always like...
she got it with Tamina.
And she was good in that.
You want another one?
Yeah, with Beth Phoenix. I want Beth Phoenix and Natalya to win the tag team titles. I'm putting it out there. I'll make you care about the women's tag division if it's the last thing I do. Certainly more than they will. I think that whether it was a match she had with Charlotte, she had a good run with Naomi. I think she's got something good here. And I think that there was a moment where she broke out of Rhea's submission, and it was like she was gulping for air. She was like, oh my God, I'm really going for this here. And it made me believe in her. Like, it made me believe she was really trying here and really going for it. It was a level of intensity we haven't seen from her for a while, to the point where she locks on the sharpshooter, and I'm watching it going like, I as the one who is always on Natalya's side, go on, tap out. Like, I don't think for a second I ever believed that Rhea was going to lose, ever. But I was like, could you a little bit, like, if Rhea does have knee trouble that she needs some time to properly heal from, it wouldn't be the right choice. But I believed it in the moment. And I think that's a credit to the pair of them. And I think that when she does get bantered off and she has become a bit of a meme, and all of the world records that are like, congratulations, as you said in your news, you've been around for a long time. That's really what they say. And that is, in this company, a feat in and of itself, I think, especially for the women's division. So I was just like, maybe I'm overcorrecting. Maybe I'm overdoing it. But good on you, mate. Good for you. You had a really good little showing here. And people were receiving it well online, and I was happy for her.
It was a surprisingly good match.
Yeah.
Rhea... Yeah, that sharpshooter spot was really well done because Rhea went for the Dom tribute of a frog splash.
Yeah, and was so good in it, wasn't she? The way she was playing to the crowd, it was so good.
Natalya got the knees up and then hit the running power slam, the bulldog, and then put it into the sharpshooter. Really well done. But I think actually my match of the night.
I don't disagree with you. Credit to Corey Graves as well. Corey on commentary was sort of pointing out the British Bulldog thing, putting over Natalya where possible. It's the commentators that can really elevate something, and normally they're a bit difficult on this show, and I think they did a really good job there.
And then Rhea won, of course. Yeah. Beat up Natty afterwards, and Liv and Raquel made the save because they're friends.
And we had a little Rhea and Raquel moment last week, so I guess it's following.
Yeah, do you think there's going to be is Rhea getting a tag partner, or is this Raquel versus?
Well, it was the idea of
Rhea.
They've set us up with Raquel, Becky, and Rhea at some point. They also set us up with Bianca, but then now she's on a different brand. So like, I'd rather Raquel and Liv focused on their division.
Because backstage after that, well, we got a Ciampa promo on Miz. And then Miz cut a pretty good promo back on Ciampa.
What was that? Did you just, sorry, within the space of the same 5 minutes, you just compliment Natalya and the Miz?
I don't like it.
I The impact I've had, the doors I've opened on this channel, I tell you.
They're going to have a no DQ match next week.
They are, and at the very least, what I can say for that, I thought the Miz promo was great. I think the Miz cut's a brilliant promo. Remember the Talking Smack promo?
Yeah, but there's no credibility there. He can talk really well. I don't believe anything he says.
You don't have to. He does.
No, but I don't believe.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it doesn't make me excited to see him wrestle.
That's fair. That's fair. At the very least, in this example of the Miz card vortex, there is previous. These two have a story to tell, you know? Ciampa's come back, gone straight into a program with the Miz card vortex, but at the very least, they have worked together. Ciampa has a reason to have a grudge.
Yeah.
You know? I wrote here, this was a good night for Dan Layton's unpopular faves.
Backstage, that's when we get Rhea walking along. We get that EO Sky briefcase tease. And Ripley does say to Dom that Raquel and Liv are going to regret this.
She doesn't need a tag team partner, the character-wise. She doesn't need backup. I think that's the whole swag.
I think having Ripley versus Rodriguez, put them in the ring, that could be like a good back of the brain. They're so big.
Yeah, people do like. I like big people bashing each other. It's why I was so high on Miro on Collision. I was like, oh, he's big, isn't he? And Drew McIntyre, which we'll get in a second. Yeah. Speaking of big people.
So Riddle has a match against Giovanni Vinci from Imperium because Riddle had injured Vinci a few weeks ago. Riddle, coming off a brutal loss to his ankle, really.
Yeah.
Just walked out fine.
Did his little flip-flops kick, jumped up and landed, did a kip up in the middle of the match.
Ran back and forth to hit knees and stuff.
No issues.
I was annoyed by that.
It made me cross.
And the match went about a minute. Riddle rolled up and pinned Vinci, whatever. Imperium run in. Drew McIntyre runs out. He takes out both Vinci and Kaiser while looking at Gunther. Yeah.
I'm irritated by Matt Riddle at the best of times. No selling an injury. And also, you're not wearing shoes. Like, I like that you don't wrestle in shoes. It gives you something. But when you're not wearing shoes, there's less support. So how is this injured ankle that Gunther absolutely mauled 2 days ago?
Enough to make you tap out.
And Trish wasn't medically cleared to compete earlier on.
Oh, that was another really fun line. She was like, because they walked down to beat up Becky and like, oh, sorry, no, I've got a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, at 9:30.
At 9:30 on a Monday.
So yeah, I know that bothered me. So I'm now we've got McIntyre and Riddle being mates. Also, the idea of like, oh, thanks, I've been dealing with Imperium for ages, no one's helped me. What happened to KO and Sammy? You know, so I don't want. What I want for the next 5 weeks really is McIntyre and Gunther just absolutely destroying people, and then looking at each other and going like, "Your turn."
Yeah,
and then they bash each other.
Yeah.
And it's like it's my two action figures, and we're just doing this for a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's one of him. Well, it's not Imperium's fault. It's the way WWE see Imperium. You are a 3-man group. We must Franken 3 some other random combination of wrestlers to go up against you. Backstage afterwards, Byron interviews Drew and Riddle in the most awkward way possible. Just
deeply
slides into the shot while they're talking. Hi, guys.
Drew's like, I feel like there's something hovering over my shoulder.
Yeah. And they say they're going to face him next week in a tag match. Let's go get some pints. And then Riddle said, some tinnies.
I thought he said some jimmies.
Oh, did it? Why? What would jimmies be?
Well, then I started Googling what jimmies are, and I got 3 different answers, and none of them sounded tasty. One of them was a crowbar, one of them was like a Stanley knife.
Let's go get some pints.
Drew said, let's go get some pints.
Do people say that?
We do.
Fancy a pint? I've never said, do you want to get some pints?
Should we go for a pint? Well, I'm Northern.
Yeah.
Let's go for a pint.
Let's go for a pint.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, let's go get some pints.
Well, he's bigger than us. He can take more than one.
Right. Because sometimes a pint is actually plural.
Yeah.
Fancy a pint.
We'll be there for the next 4 hours.
And that's the show. Overall, I thought it was a long 3 hours.
Yes, it was.
I like the Judgment Day stuff, but really, and the American Alpha stuff, and
that last hour,
the Rhea and Natalya stuff.
From the return of from the Alpha Academy match, pretty much to the end, I was engaged.
But it wasn't good. It wasn't really good stuff, and you had like this is the Money in the Bank post episode.
And I was really excited to watch it.
such a hot crowd on Saturday to what was actually a very dead crowd. Yeah.
They had moments, but it wasn't. Can I do one final whinge bit while you're getting up the UltraChat document?
Go for it.
So having been there on Friday, something that's been bothering me for the past few weeks has been that we hear the sound of a pyro, but we don't see a pyro. And I've been noticing this for ages, and I keep forgetting to mention it. They do the bang in the live arena. It's behind a big curtain, and you can see the smoke. And I've researched this. It's called a concussion bomb or something. Basically, it is the sound of an explosion that is a real physical thing. Because pyro, as in the old WCW days, can sometimes sound like... So it's to make that look like a big boom. But they're not doing the pyro unless your name is Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns. Why? Just do it. Do the pyro. You're starting to get on my nerves here. Don't care. Spend the money.
They're quite hard up for money, WWE.
They aren't. You're fibbing. I know you're fibbing. I've seen the deals.
It's just they line up all the crew.
Yeah.
3,
they've all got chalk
2.
on their hands. Yeah. It's like when we're getting a new member all over the place.
Before we get into our remaining natty chats, ultra nats, last call for those, let's say a big thank you to our wonderful $25 a month or more Pledgehammers on Patreon. If you go over there now, you can listen to mine and Luke's very well received TNA Slammiversary 2009 review, where we talk for 3.5 to 4 hours about that era of TNA, which is one of my favorites, but watching it back, it's bad. have you heard about this Matt Morgan comment?
Which one?
So one of I was watching the YouTube version of the pay-per-view on YouTube.
Which one is this from me?
TNA Slammiversary 09.
09. Okay.
And I realized there's a live chat from when they premiered it three years ago during the pandemic. Like, this is interesting. Let's see what people are talking about to us. It's mostly people going, what do you think is going to happen on AEW this week? Blah, 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 blah. But then Matt Morgan comes out.
In the live chat?
No. Imagine. In the show. And Don West is like, this guy, he's the perfect human being. He's the blueprint. They sent his DNA up to the International Space Station. Very funny. And someone in the chat says, if I had Matt Morgan's DNA, I'd clone myself, I'd turn that clone into a woman, and then I'd F it.
There are so many leaps of logic here. I know.
Oh, yeah, you've got the technology to clone yourself.
Right.
In the form of Matt Morgan. So yeah, sure. You've also got the technology to swap the genders,
but also you're gonna F some DNA. Like you're not gonna make yourself a Matt Morgan to F. You're just gonna what I assume.
Well, I wouldn't F a Matt Morgan.
No. Well,
only a woman Matt Morgan.
Right. Well, I see. I'm confused. I thought he was saying like
it's really confusing.
I'll make myself a Matt Morgan. I make another version of me that's a woman to have sex with Matt Morgan. I'm like, there's so many leaps here. The people are interesting, Ollie.
Yeah, they
really are.
Anyway, you can listen to that if you go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, like these wonderful folk here. The $100 Man, CD Horver.
The Kessel Run, DX Solo.
Double L, Liam Leonard.
Mad Mac, the Meat Father.
Have an Argy Bargy, Margie Pargy.
The Mat Man, Matthew Allen.
Super Kick, Nick Mazesco. That was a concussion bang, didn't you hear?
I heard it, yeah. I was like, it was vivid. Ryan Disco Stewart.
The Final Judgment, Takeless Nobody.
Thomas, the Prize Hooker Solazano.
Where there's a Will Campbell.
And the Machine Gun Alex Anderson.
Thank you, everybody, ever so much for those. Right, let's get on with our remaining Ultranats. Will Campbell, speaking of.
Yeah.
Can we just shout him out?
A little bit.
I love how Dom acted like the kid from a family drama show trying to keep his immediately divorcing parents from fighting each other. Also, Mr. Helmsley, please push Alpha Academy up the card. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yes, please. Put Chad Gable and everything.
So, they could face KO and Sammy? Or you get the belts on someone else?
I would like the belts split up. But that's probably not going to happen. So in that case, at some point, I think a tag team title run is especially for this iteration. They've had a tag team title run. This iteration deserves one. The work needs to be rewarded, I think.
Missing username unhappy face. If that is a missing username, please tell the mods so we can get your name to give you a proper shout out.
If that's just your username,
yeah,
that's quite funny.
That's fine. After watching Money in the Bank, I'm completely convinced that the Mania main event will be Roman versus defending champ Solo Sikoa.
Oh.
Every moment has had a purpose. At SummerSlam, Jay loses, gets reunited with Solo. Solo wins the title with Uso's help at Payback. I can't see that.
I can't either. I mean, I can see Solo getting the rub because that moment, ooh, when the double kick out and Solo's the one to take charge.
Yeah.
Is great stuff. That's brilliant performance.
But I suppose we'll find out more. We didn't cover this in the Raw review, but possibly the most exciting thing to happen on Raw was the announcement of what's happening on SmackDown.
Tribal Court.
The Tribal Court. The trial of the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns.
And I'm so compelled by this for a number of reasons. Not least because why would Roman put himself in it? So this makes me think they're getting high on their moxie. Right? And Roman's going to get some form of revenge, right? Roman's going to have them taken out in some way. Or maybe it is, because remember when we were supposed to have the acknowledgement ceremony and all of the Samoan family was supposed to be there? There was also in the match, this is me going a bit wild. You know me, I get carried away. I get excited. Do you remember when Jay did the rock punch?
Yeah.
The little spit punch. Yeah. And then they did the rock bomb. That's on purpose. That's on purpose. Give me Roman versus Jay with The Rock as a special guest referee at SummerSlam. He doesn't need to wrestle.
Be huge.
He doesn't need to be in ring shape.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need to show. But you've got 5 weeks to announce that The Rock is going to be at SummerSlam.
That's huge. That could be. It's a nice idea. I don't think it will happen. I think it was just a reference to a shared history, like how the Young Bucks and FTR would do the 3D.
Me and Sullivan were giggling that maybe Jay was about to do a stink face.
Mania main event Frau says Shayna destroyed whatever ego Ronda had left.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. Aaron Dennehy. Hey guys, first Ultra Chat. Aaron from Ireland. I loved meeting you at the watch party. I was nervous, but I talked to Ollie at the end and got a pic. He's lovely. I told you I never Ultra Chatted and feel guilty. Anyway, here's an Ultra Chat. Well, really nice to meet you, Aaron. And thanks for coming over. From Ireland.
From Ireland.
Tony Ramos. Damn, Dan, I didn't realize that I want a Beth Phoenix and Natalya tag team run. I completely agree with you about Natty. She's solid and deserves better. Not so much a world title run, but tag team, yes. And don't let Ollie tell me any different.
It's me versus the entire office. It's not even just Ollie at this stage.
I love how when people try and make this argument, Tony here and you start to lose faith in your own argument. Halfway through, let's take on the journey of this comment. I completely agree with you about Natty. She's solid and deserves better. Not so much a world title run, but tag team, yeah.
I think that's me acquiescing because you've got to butter people up to get them on side. So when you agree with me that she deserves a tag team title run, then I can start making the case that that tag team title run was pretty good, wasn't it? Maybe a world title's on the way.
The Overton window. Marlon Jackson says, Liv and Raquel both have history with Rhea and Natalya. Is the one helped to get Liv get better in the ring. So the save made sense. I agree with the tag stuff, but I'm happy every woman on the roster, outside of Piper and Zaya, was on TV last night.
They have had a few weeks of sort of one token women segment, which has been a bit frustrating. I'm glad that they got TV time. It was nice to see Tegan Knox on TV. I would just rather it was done in a more meaningful way. I would rather it was, like I say, use the allotted time for the bantering off segment to announce, get your teams ready, because we're ready to take on anybody. Yeah. And then over the next few weeks, they can have more quality TV time, because is the TV time worth it if all you're going to do is get eliminated in the ad break?
And finally, for now, Tyler Robinson has been a member for 21 months in a row. Wow. Happy Independence Day, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome, America.
We gave you the freedom you wanted.
We gave you your place back. Could you just close the poll so we can see what the...
I'll be back.
Oh, I've just got one more last-minute chat as well. Mr. Higglesby says, it's Team Odin. Oliver and Dan. Odin. Happy to see you all. Happy to see you all. My question for you: is what if we have Dom pin Gunther to win the Intercontinental Championship? Just imagine the heat he'd get.
Probably not the right kind of heat.
Yeah, that's too far on the Dom push.
Yeah, a little bit.
What was our final results?
Get into this. Negative 5%.
Oh, wow.
Mid 48% and thumbs up 42%.
Yeah, it's a mid show.
I think it's mid show.
I gave it 66, I think, percent.
I probably would have been like 50. But yeah, it did 2.5 stars. Did its job. Next week.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here today, especially on a rare holiday in the United States.
Yeah.
They never get a break. But from me and Dan Layton, jam that jam. Now Dan's going to end the stream.
Ready? Say it one more time.
Jam that jam.
There it is.